Hey guys, in today's video we are going to talk about common relationship mistakes and why these mistakes cause girls to walk away from you. If you're thinking, why can't I have the kind of relationship I want, then this video is for you. We all want to improve and become a better version of ourselves, don't we? But sometimes the mistakes we make without even realizing it can get us off track. So, what are these 8 critical mistakes that cause girls to run away? Let's get started. Being too interested or clingy. It is important to show interest in relationships, but it is vital to adjust the dose of that interest. People want to feel free and comfortable in a relationship. Behaviors such as constantly texting, following her every move, or trying to be with her every moment can create a feeling of suffocation on the other side, and this can cause girls to move away from you. One of the main problems with being too involved is that it destabilizes the relationship. This behavior can make the other person feel that they have lost their individuality and sends a message of insecurity. Constantly wondering where they are or wanting to know what they are doing reflects a lack of trust. People cannot feel comfortable in relationships where there is insecurity. Being too interested also has a negative effect on your attractiveness. There should be a certain mystery and curiosity in a relationship. Being available at all times and giving everything to the other person destroys this mystery. Stoic philosophy is a great tool for understanding this situation. According to the Stoics, instead of focusing on what you cannot control, you should focus on your own behavior and inner peace. Paying too much attention is actually a reflection of our own inner insecurities. So when you do this, ask yourself, is this attention really out of love or out of my own inadequacies? This awareness will help you to make your relationship dynamics healthier. It is important to understand why the other person avoids such behavior. People, especially women, seek relationships that make them feel valued, not suffocated. Being overly clingy can send the message, I am nothing without you, and this puts a lot of pressure on the other person. No one wants to be solely responsible for another person's happiness. This can make the relationship untenable. Instead, learn to focus on your own life. Work towards your goals, make time for your hobbies, and maintain your independence. Someone who is happy in their own life will make the other person happy too. Showing interest in relationships is natural and necessary, but doing it in moderation is the key to a healthy relationship. Let the other person breathe, respect their freedom, and be there for them without interfering in their life. When you balance your interest, the relationship becomes stronger and more enjoyable for both you and the other person. Finding yourself in constant defense. Although arguments and disagreements are natural in relationships, approaching these situations with a constant defensive attitude can damage the relationship. Trying to explain or justify yourself in every argument can give the impression that you are trivializing the other person's feelings and thoughts. This kind of behavior prevents the relationship from moving forward in a healthy way and pushes the other person away. Being constantly on the defensive means avoiding taking responsibility, saying things like, but I had to do that, or you misunderstood me. In an argument shows that you are really ignoring the underlying problems in the relationship. This attitude can make the other person feel that their feelings are worthless. People want to be understood and listened to. Constantly defending yourself in disagreements gives the impression that the relationship is only about you. A lack of empathy makes this situation worse. If the other person feels that their feelings are not being taken seriously, they may start to question the relationship. Being constantly on the defensive can also reflect your own lack of confidence. Not admitting mistakes can be seen as a lack of maturity. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the need to focus on our own reactions, which we can control, rather than external factors which we cannot. From this perspective, in an argument you should first try to understand the other person's feelings and focus on resolving the situation rather than becoming defensive. The following quote from Epictetus is very relevant here. We are not affected by external events, but by our reactions to them. Therefore, your aim in an argument should not be to be right, but to understand the situation and strengthen your relationship. It is important to understand why the other person is avoiding this defensive behavior. No one wants to be in a long-term relationship with someone who constantly tries to defend themselves and refuses to admit their mistakes. Admitting mistakes and trying to understand the other person's feelings is one of the cornerstones of a relationship. This attitude makes the other person feel more valued and ensures that your relationship is built on a more solid foundation. To solve this problem, you should learn to empathize. Instead of using phrases like, "I'm right" or "you're wrong" in discussions, try to understand their point of view. Focus on listening and understanding what they are feeling. Do not be afraid to admit your mistakes. This will make you a more mature and reliable person in the eyes of the other person. In relationships, it is more important to be happy than to be right. Instead of being defensive all the time, value the other person's feelings and try to find a solution together. This will both improve the quality of your relationship and increase the other person's respect for you. Not paying attention to appearance. Appearance may not be one of the most important factors in starting or maintaining a relationship, but it is an effective way of showing the other person that you care about them. Not paying attention to appearance can give the impression that you do not care about the other person and do not take the relationship seriously. People expect the person they are dating to look good and project a positive image. This is not just about physical attractiveness. Being clean, tidy, and well-groomed reflects the respect you have for yourself and the value you place on your surroundings. If you do not take care of your appearance, you may disappoint others. A sloppy appearance may suggest laziness or indifference. It may also cause the other person to ask questions such as, "Has his interest in me waned?" or "Doesn't he care about me?" People feel more special and valued in a caring relationship. Therefore, neglecting yourself can be harmful not only to yourself, but also to your relationship. From a Stoic perspective, your appearance is not only an indicator of your self-esteem, but also something you can control. The Stoics advocate having a positive impact on your surroundings through your behavior and choices. Taking care of yourself is important not only to impress others, but also to increase your own self-esteem. The following quote from Marcus Aurelius can serve as a guide. Your life is short, so do your duty to yourself and to those around you. Taking care of yourself means making yourself and others feel good. Why does the other person shy away from this kind of behavior? Because people want to be constantly stimulated in a relationship and to feel valued by the other person's care. A partner who does not take care of themselves can give the impression that the relationship has become monotonous and has lost its excitement. This is particularly important at the beginning of a relationship, when people form their first impressions based on appearances, and these impressions can affect the dynamics of the relationship. To avoid this, make it a habit to spend more time on yourself. Pay regular attention to your personal hygiene, paying attention to details such as your hair, skin, and clothes. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Just looking clean and groomed can make a big difference. Also remember that taking care of yourself is not just about your physical appearance. Your posture, body language, and energy are also part of your appearance. Having positive energy and confidence are elements that complement your appearance. As a result, not taking care of your appearance can be one of the main reasons why girls walk away from you. It prevents them from feeling special and valuable. Taking care of yourself is a simple but effective step that will strengthen both your relationship and your own self-confidence. Taking care of yourself not only makes the other person feel better, it makes you feel better too. Remember that small details in relationships can have big effects and be aware of them. Excessive jealousy. Excessive jealousy is one of the worst enemies of a relationship. A little jealousy can be seen as a sign of love, but when this emotion gets out of control, it seriously damages the health of the relationship and the peace of mind of both parties. Excessive jealousy can make you feel that you don't trust the other person, that you don't respect their judgment and loyalty. Not only does this disrupt the dynamics of the relationship, but it also makes the other person feel that their freedom is being restricted. Jealousy often stems from your own insecurities. If you do not think you are worthy enough, you get the idea that the other person might be interested in other people. Behaviors such as constantly questioning, criticizing their circle of friends, or trying to control them through social media undermine the natural flow of the relationship. This kind of behavior can trigger thoughts such as, "He doesn't trust me," or "He doesn't understand who I am." Freedom is one of the cornerstones of a healthy relationship, and excessive jealousy threatens that freedom. From a Stoic perspective, jealousy is the result of an obsessive focus on something we cannot control. The Stoics argue that people are only responsible for their own behavior and reactions. Instead of trying to control the other person's choices, you should recognize your own worth. The following quote from Epictetus can be instructive in this regard. "Happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but on inner peace." From this perspective, excessive jealousy can cause you to lose your peace of mind and damage your relationship. It is not difficult to understand why the other person avoids this behavior. No one can be happy in a relationship where they are constantly being questioned, controlled, and restricted. Excessive jealousy puts a strain on the other person and causes the relationship to become stifling. People want to be in relationships where they feel safe and comfortable. Insecurity and a desire for control make the relationship unsustainable and cause the other person to drift away from you. The first step to solving this problem is to acknowledge your own worth. Remember that the other person has chosen to be with you and that this choice is based on their free will. If you respect his or her life and choices, your relationship will be much healthier. If you feel jealous, instead of trying to suppress the feeling, try to understand its source. Ask yourself the following questions. Why am I feeling this emotion? And is this situation really a threat, or is it about my perception? This awareness can help you deal with jealousy. Empathy is also important in this process. Instead of questioning the other person, express your trust in them and develop a communication style that reinforces that trust. If you struggle with jealousy, you can put your relationship on a firmer footing by sharing your feelings openly and honestly. Instead of being overly jealous, emphasize the trust and freedom in your relationship. Not only will this increase the other person's commitment to you, but it will also make your relationship more enjoyable and long-lasting. Remember, where there is trust, there is no room for jealousy. Constantly complaining and being negative. Constant complaining and a negative attitude can quickly poison the atmosphere of a relationship. People are looking for a happy and peaceful relationship. A partner who is constantly complaining disturbs this peace and wears out the relationship. Complaining about everything, ignoring the small pleasures of life, and focusing on the negative aspects of every situation drains the other person's energy. After a while, this may cause them to give up trying to understand you and move away. Being constantly negative also has a negative effect on the dynamics of your relationship. Complaining can give the impression that you are belittling the other person's efforts and contributions. For example, if you constantly express dissatisfaction when your partner makes a plan or gesture, you may discourage them. This kind of behavior sends the message that your efforts are not enough. People want to feel valued and appreciated. Complaining and negativity create the opposite feeling and cause your partner to distance themselves from you. Stoic philosophy encourages a positive approach to life's challenges. Instead of complaining, You should focus on what you can control and act accordingly. The following words of Marcus Aurelius are inspiring in this regard. Life is not determined by external circumstances, but by our reactions to them. Constant complaining keeps you stuck in the negative aspects of your life. Instead, focus on seeing the good in the other person and the positive elements in your relationship. This will not only improve the dynamics of your relationship, but also your own quality of life. Why does the other person avoid this kind of behavior? Because no one wants to be in a constant state of negativity. Life is full of challenges, and people want a supportive and positive partner to help them through them. Someone who complains all the time feels like a burden to the other person, and this makes your relationship unsustainable. In addition, a negative attitude undermines the other person's respect and affection for you, because people generally want to be around positive and motivating people. To correct this behavior, start by looking at your own attitude. Try to recognize how often you complain in everyday life and take steps to change this habit. You can create a mental balance by trying to find a positive aspect after every negative thought. Get into the habit of using constructive language when communicating with your partner rather than complaining. For example, if you're unhappy with a situation, use a solution-oriented approach instead of complaining directly. Also, learn to appreciate the small gestures your partner makes. Gratitude is one of the most important elements in strengthening a relationship. When you focus on the positive, the atmosphere in your relationship will naturally become warmer and more pleasant. Instead of complaining all the time, you can make your relationship healthier by emphasizing mutual support and understanding. Remember that a positive attitude will not only improve your relationship, but also your overall level of happiness in life. Negativity in relationships harms not only the person who complains, but also the other party. Therefore, making an effort to change this habit is one of the best things you can do for yourself and your partner. Not listening and constantly talking about yourself. Listening is one of the most basic and important elements of a relationship. However, constantly talking about yourself instead of listening and taking into account what the other person is saying can seriously upset the balance of the relationship. In a relationship, people want to feel understood and heard. When the other person is trying to express themselves, constantly reverting to your own stories or trivializing what they are saying creates a huge communication gap over time. This can cause the other person to distance themselves from you because no one wants to be in a relationship just to listen to a monologue. Not listening and constantly talking about yourself gives the impression that you are ignoring your partner's feelings and thoughts. This behavior can suggest that you don't care about their needs and feelings. For example, if your partner tries to tell you that they are having a difficult day, try to understand their feelings rather than immediately expressing your own problems or offering solutions. Talking about yourself all the time shows that you are focusing only on your own needs, forgetting that the relationship is a sharing between two people. This damages the intimacy and commitment of the relationship in the long run. Stoic philosophy places great emphasis on empathy and understanding in communication. According to the Stoics, sincerely focusing on what the other person is saying and trying to understand it helps the relationship to be on a more solid footing. The following quote from Marcus Aurelius is very powerful in this regard. You should listen to understand others, not just to respond. Listening not only strengthens a relationship, but also shows that you value your partner and care about their feelings. Instead of talking about yourself all the time, take time to listen to what the other person is saying and try to understand their point of view. Why does the other person want to avoid this kind of behavior? Because people not only want to listen, they also want to be heard and understood. Talking about yourself all the time sends the message, your feelings and thoughts are not important to me. This weakens the emotional bond of the relationship and makes the other person feel excluded. Over time, your partner will get tired of being in a relationship where they cannot express themselves and will move away. To overcome this problem, you should develop the habit of active listening. When your partner tells you something, make eye contact to show that you are really listening. Nod your head in agreement and repeat what she says to show that you are trying to understand. Ask questions to understand her feelings, and do not switch to your own stories without letting her finish. Use you language rather than I language in communication to emphasize the other person's feelings. Also, try to keep a balance in your conversations. Of course, it is important to share your own life, thoughts and feelings, but do not let this sharing become a monologue. Your relationship is one of cooperation, not competition. Listening should not be seen as a duty, but as a sign of respect for the other person. This approach will make your relationship healthier and more sustainable, and will increase your partner's trust and commitment to you. On the other hand, not listening and constantly talking about yourself excludes the other person from the relationship. The key to good communication is to strike a balance and genuinely focus on the other person's feelings. Remember that listening is not just being silent, it is really trying to understand. If you develop this habit, you will find that your relationship becomes much stronger and more meaningful. Not setting goals for yourself. Failure to set goals is one of the main reasons why relationships fail to progress both personally and together. People tend to form stronger bonds with people who have a vision for their lives, who strive for the future, and who work to achieve something. If you don't have a goal, or if you don't make an effort to move towards your goals, this can give the impression that you are not an inspiring partner. Such an attitude can make your partner see you as stagnant, unmotivated, and unexciting. Goals help not only you, but also your relationship to make sense. If you do not set a direction for yourself, your partner may find it difficult to imagine a future with you. For example, if you do not have a purpose in your career or personal life, your partner may think that your relationship is also aimless. In the long run, this can demotivate your relationship and cause the other person to distance themselves from you. People want a partner who adds value to their lives, who is open to development, and who can grow with them. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of setting goals and working with discipline to achieve them. The following words of Epictetus are very instructive in this regard. If you want to shine your own light, you must first know what you want to do. From this perspective, setting goals is not only a matter of individual achievement, but also a way of giving meaning to your life and adding value to those around you. Setting a direction for yourself puts both your relationship and your personal life on a firmer footing. Why does the other person shy away from this kind of behavior? Because people want to see that the person they are with has a purpose in life and is working towards it. If you don't have a goal, the other person may feel that the relationship with you is also in limbo. A lack of goals creates monotony after a while and weakens the dynamics of the relationship. In addition, not having a goal can make the other person question their place in your life. If this person doesn't have a goal in their own life, how can they plan a future with me? Can negatively affect your relationship. To remedy this, create a roadmap by setting short and long-term goals for yourself. Make sure your goals are realistic and achievable. A simple question to ask yourself is, what do I really want in life, and what am I doing to achieve it? Setting goals is not just about big achievements. You can set goals for personal development, hobbies, health or relationships. The important thing is to take concrete steps and make an effort to achieve them. Also, make it a habit to share your goals with your partner. This will both motivate you and strengthen your relationship. Setting goals together can help you determine the direction of your relationship and contribute to its progress in a more meaningful way. When your partner sees that you are striving to achieve something, Their trust and admiration for you will increase. This will create a stronger bond in your relationship and make you a more inspiring partner. On the other hand, not setting goals for yourself can cause the other person to see you as stagnant and not adding excitement to the relationship. Having a direction in life creates meaning not only for you, but also for your relationship. The steps you take towards your goals add dynamism and inspiration to your relationship. Remember that a relationship needs not only love, but also growth. When you set a direction for yourself and your relationship, both your personal development and your relationship will become more satisfying. Lack of emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is one of the cornerstones of trust, respect, and solid communication in a relationship. An emotionally mature person can understand themselves and their partner better, deal with problems constructively, and express their emotions in a healthy way. However, a lack of emotional maturity leads to constant conflict in a relationship, misunderstandings, and one party becoming too tired to carry the relationship. Lack of maturity makes it difficult for the other person to trust you and give meaning to the relationship. Over time, this can lead to the relationship breaking down and the other person moving away from you. Lack of emotional maturity often manifests itself in an inability to control your emotions or to express them in a way that does not harm others. For example, becoming angry or defensive during an argument with your partner rather than remaining calm can cause deep wounds in your relationship. Similarly, constant passive-aggressive behavior, ignoring problems or making accusations instead of looking for solutions can wear down a relationship. This kind of behavior makes it impossible for your partner to have a healthy connection with you and makes the relationship unsustainable. Stoic philosophy is an important guide to developing emotional maturity. According to the Stoics, although we do not have complete control over events in the outside world, our reactions to these events are entirely our own responsibility. The following quote from Marcus Aurelius can be a guide to understanding emotional maturity. "It is not the events themselves that hurt you, but the way you react to them. Emotional maturity is the ability to consciously choose how you react to events. This ability makes not only your relationship, but your life in general, more balanced and peaceful." Why does the other person shy away from this kind of behavior? Because a partner who lacks emotional maturity often becomes a burden. Your partner has to put up with your constant outbursts of anger, resentment, or unconstructive attitude to problems. This undermines his or her confidence and motivation in the relationship. In addition, being with an emotionally immature partner can make a person feel lonely because the lack of maturity makes it difficult to establish emotional solidarity. People want a partner who is calm, supportive, and understanding in the face of difficulties. If this expectation is not met, distance is inevitable. The first step in developing emotional maturity is to recognize and accept your own feelings. Instead of suppressing your feelings of anger, sadness, or disappointment, try to understand where they come from. Ask yourself the following questions. Why am I feeling this emotion? And how can I express this emotion in a more constructive way? Taking a step back and reflecting during an argument or problem rather than reacting immediately is also an important indicator of emotional maturity. This prevents both you and your partner from becoming emotionally overwhelmed. Empathy is also an important part of emotional maturity. Trying to understand the other person's feelings makes you more sensitive to their needs. Instead of focusing on winning arguments, adopt a solution-oriented attitude. Respecting your partner and taking their views and feelings into account contributes to a much healthier relationship. Being able to apologize and admit your mistakes when necessary is also a sign of emotional maturity and increases trust in your relationship. As a result, a lack of emotional maturity can lead to serious problems in a relationship and cause the other person to distance themselves from you. However, you have the power to change this situation. If you learn to control your emotional reactions, empathize, and approach problems constructively, not only your relationship but also your personal development will make great progress. Remember, emotional maturity has a positive impact on both your life and your partner's, and strengthens the foundation of your relationship. Friends, as you can see, these 8 mistakes can cause big problems in relationships. But these are not things that cannot be fixed. We can build healthier and happier relationships by improving ourselves. Remember, Stoicism teaches us to understand and develop ourselves first. For true happiness in relationships begins when we create our own inner balance. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.